Hi, I'm Yvonne. Yes, very proud of what I did, and that pissed the judge off because I show no remorse. Why would I show remorse for standing for freedom and fighting for what is right? That is not to be remorseful for. So I will not apologize for me going there. I will, and it pisses them off, but my story has never changed. In 2020, I woke up. I woke up to a lot of things. But we'll stick to the election. If you want to hear my story, we can share that in another place. But I started observing. I realized that we have been under mind control, and we haven't been thinking for ourselves for a long time. We've been indoctrinated, and we believe things that are not true. And so I started watching and observing, and believe it or not, I wasn't a Trump supporter. I voted for Trump because there was no way Hillary Clinton would ever get my vote. But I do look at the person. Yes, I have always been Republican, but I do look at the person. And I didn't love Trump. And it wasn't actually until 2020 that I started to see things and listen to him and started to realize he was trying to help us see. And I told my husband in August of 2020, I said, Trump's not going to save us. We're here to save ourselves.
That's right. That's right. That's absolutely the message. That is.
And God showed that to me, and he said, Yvonne, you've always struggled with the system because the system wasn't created for we the people. And I am like many of you. I have suffered trauma in my childhood. My parents didn't have it easy. We've all been there. There's only a few that have not suffered, and every human's suffered trauma, whether they know it or not. Giving birth is traumatic for a human. So I watched, and I got arrested in December of 2020 because I went to a mask mandate, and I started to realize, I knew the mask was for control, but God started to show me a lot of things, and I was arrested for that, and I got a misdemeanor trespassing charge. I was found guilty on my birthday. But when Trump said, come to DC, I was like, Troy, this is going to be history. Little did I know. And I wanted to be a part of history. I wanted to someday to be able to tell my grandkids, I was there. I went for you.
That's right.
And
that is right. So
I said, I'm going whether you go with me or not. I wasn't working at the time. I quit working in 2020. When I woke up, I said, I'm not doing this anymore. And so we drove. We left on January 1st, and we were in our car, and we drove from Idaho to here. And we had our Trump flag. We had DC or bust. Our car was decked out. We were ready, and we came here, and it was the most amazing to be over there with all those people and feel that energy and love, and to see people standing for truth was amazing. And then I walked down Constitution Avenue, and I was so excited. Yes, I started off following Q, and I still believe there's a lot of truth there, but I also realize there's a lot of disinformation and misinformation in this world, so I take everything to God. I'm not going to believe any man, and I'm not going to judge any person because I don't know their story and I don't know their shoes. So I hear stuff, even the battle of the January 6ers, and it makes me sad because if we don't unite, we have to unite in this group, and then we have to unite bigger. We've got to quit the bickering, and we've got to quit the differences. So we came to DC, and we got separated. Thank God we got separated, because he'd probably be here with me, and that would really suck for my kids. I thought somebody was going to get arrested, so I skipped, and he was like, I'm not skipping, and I went right to the West Tunnel because I wanted to see what was going on, and I went right to the front because I wanted to see what was going on. And then when they broke the barrier, I was one of the first people in the tunnel. I actually was behind the glass doors with the police, and at that point it was like, Yvonne, you need to get out of here, you're going to get hurt. And so I went out of the tunnel, and then I went back in, and I stood up on the air conditioner, and I filmed everything. And what's crazy is when they pushed everybody out of the tunnel, I didn't want to step on the police, and I was trying to get down, but to get down would have stepped on them. And I kept saying, I'm trying. I don't even remember them hitting me. They were hitting me, and I didn't remember it until my trial, and I saw the video with him actually beating me, and I was saying, I'm trying. Well, when I tried, I lost my shoe, and I didn't remember that, but I lost my phone. So I got out, and that was when Roseanne Boyle, and it got crazy after that, but I was down a little bit, so I didn't see any of that. I tried to call my husband, he couldn't hear me, and about that time was when they broke the window. So I was like, oh, I'll crawl through the window, I'll borrow a phone. I was ready to go at that point. I was sad. I was like, we're at war and nobody even realizes we're at war, and everyone thinks I'm crazy because I know we're at war, my husband knows we're at war, there's many veterans that know we're at war, and everyone else is walking around like nothing's going on. So I crawled in the window, and this is where it gets good, and this is where I'm telling you God is in control of every bit of this. So I asked somebody, does anyone have a phone I could borrow? And this guy literally standing about where my husband is, pulls out my phone and says, I found this, is it your phone? Yeah, there were 1 million plus people there. No, I don't think so. I think he just found it. And I, of course, well, maybe, I don't know. But that never came up, so I don't think so. But I called my husband. I was like, oh, I can charge my phone. And then I was like, oh, we have internet. We haven't had internet the whole time. Let me go live. Saying, this is our motherfucking house.
It is our house, though.
It is our house. So, I made national news hanging out the window while they were trying to resuscitate Roseanne Boylan right below me, and I had no idea of that until maybe one of the documentaries came out.
Probably about a year later.
So,